Hi, my name is Megan McGinnis, and this is my EDUC 526 Capstone project. Well, I can finally say it. I'm done! I will finally be obtaining my California teaching credential, as well as my master's in digital teaching and learning. Now, my academic journey began in 2010 when I started my first semester at Cal State University Fullerton. While completing my bachelor's degree at Cal State Fullerton, all I could think about was finishing my degree and moving on to the credential program. At that time, I had no desire to complete my master's degree, let alone complete it at Azusa Pacific University. I thought everything was all laid out in front of me at Cal State Fullerton. I had my education classes, I applied for the credential program, and I had just passed my CBEST and CSET exams. Unfortunately, with only 2 months left of the semester, I got the call that anyone would dread. Cal State Fullerton dropped their credential program night classes. Working full-time and going to school full-time was something that I had always dealt with, but this was different. I was now being forced to take day classes that I was unable to complete due to work commitments. Now it was back to the drawing board for me to figure out my next move. Unfortunately, weeks later, the answer was given to me without even having to do any research. My uncle had passed away, and my life was changed forever. I was angry at God, I did not want to go to school, and I had no desire to even think about continuing with the credential program. After many prayers and discussions with family members, I realized that the best thing for me was to go to a Christian university where I would get the best education, as well as be able to learn and grow with God. The decision then became which Christian university would be the right fit for me. I only researched two schools, Azusa Pacific University and Concordia University. After looking at both of them and praying over the decision, I found that APU was going to be the right match for me. When I first entered the program, I had no desire to complete my master's degree. I just wanted my credential and to become a teacher. After a semester in my credential program and meeting other fellow classmates, I realized that getting my master's degree would be a challenge, but well worth in the end. Learning about the education system and seeing all the changes that were happening in the classrooms today, from the smartboard, the Elmo, and the iPad, I realized that the best decision for me was to pursue my education at APU and get my master's in digital teaching and learning. In my technology classes, I learned valuable skills that will help me teach each student according to their academic needs, all while utilizing technology. EDUC 511, I learned how to create a live binder where I can place all of my education assignments into an e-portfolio, as well as understanding the importance of using technology in the classroom setting. In EDUC 512, I learned to fully understand everything about Apple products. I was taught how to use Pages, iCloud, apps, iBooks, Keynote, and Numbers. This class really opened my eyes to the world of technology and helped me become more familiar with navigating around the MacBook and the iPad. EDUC 514 taught me everything about photography and video editing in iMovie. EDUC 515, I was taught how to use Twitter and blog sites for professional development. This class also taught me about the positive benefits of using the flipped classroom method while teaching. Homework being done in class, and teaching being done at home by watching a recorded video lesson. The most beneficial class by far was EDUC 522. I was taught how to incorporate all of Gardner's 7 multiple intelligences into everyday lessons and incorporating technology pieces that benefit all students. I was also taught how to utilize websites, apps, and everything technology into every lesson. EDUC 526, I combined all of my work from my previous education courses and put them into my very own website. I also created an action research project that helped me focus on an area in my life that needed improvement, how much exercise is really beneficial for me. I realized that in order to be a good teacher, I needed to first focus on my health and well-being. In my action research project, I conducted a 3-week study to determine how much exercise each day and each week would be beneficial to my health, help me lose weight, and give me energy. Researching online, I found through the Department of Health and Human Services that adults gain most health benefits when they do an equivalent of 2.5 hours a week of aerobic physical activity. With this in mind, I decided I would break my research up into 3 weeks and change the amount of time per day I worked out, as well as how many days a week will be most beneficial to my body. Week 1, I worked out 4 days a week for 40 minutes. Week 2, I worked out for 30 minutes 5 days a week. And week 3, I worked out for 25 minutes 6 days a week. Even though I did not lose that much weight, I am very proud of myself for working out every day and every week and pushing myself. After 3 weeks of working out, I determined that working out for 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, really helped my body become more energized and made me feel good. I currently am not in the classroom, but during student teaching, I was fortunate enough to be in a 4th grade classroom where students were learning about ecosystems. I've always loved learning about ecosystems and found them intriguing, so I decided to take that idea further and create a curricular unit plan on biomes. Over a course of 3 weeks, students will be learning about 6 major biomes: the tundra, desert, grassland, tropical rainforest, taiga, and the temperate forest. At the end of the unit, students will be able to discover each biome's location, climate, plants, and animals that are specific to each biome, as well as any extinctions to the biomes that may be relevant. Students will be discussing, creating, assembling, debating, and composing different works of art that is relevant to their understanding. By working in groups and on an individual basis, students will be researching and collaborating on almost all assignments. In order to accomplish these objectives, I will be utilizing the California State Content Standards as well as Common Core Standards. We will be covering the categories of history, science, reading, writing, speaking, as well as visual and performing arts. I will also include technology standards to help engage students' learning. The lessons were carefully constructed to ensure each student's needs were met, as well as developing a higher level of thinking. In week 1, students will be getting an introduction into biomes. Students will be immersed in technology and taking notes using their iPads and the Evernote app. They will be creating a brainstorming web online using the resource MindMeister and collaborating with other students. Students will also be blogging about their reaction to one biome using their iPad and the KidBlog app. This will be done on an individual basis, and students will be collaborating with fellow students to create an infomercial using the Show Me app. In week 2, students will be going deeper into their understanding of biomes. Here, students will be working on an individual basis only. Students will be expected to research known reasons of extinction to one particular biome and create an Excel spreadsheet that takes their research that they have learned to a higher level. Students will take the research and create a persuasive essay on one biome and help urge people to preserve their biome that they are most fond of. Students will end the week by presenting their essay to the class in an oral presentation. To end their understanding of biomes, students will start week 3 off by watching a YouTube video on biomes of our Earth. Here, students will get a better sense into all the biomes that they have learned. Students will take notes once again using their iPad and the app Evernote. The following day, students will be collaborating with classmates and creating their very own zoo diagram. Students will practice drawing by using resources such as iPaint and Shepherd software. They will be presenting, researching, discussing, and creating. My big takeaway from these courses is that technology is the new way of learning. It is important that teachers use as many resources as possible when teaching today's generations of students. Students should be learning information using new and exciting technology. It is important as educators that we teach students using every bit of new technology that we can, and teach students using everything new technology. During these courses, I have learned new ways to teach students using all things technology. I have also been taught how to facilitate and engage every type of learner. These courses have taught me to be aware of each student's specific needs and be able to teach them according to their learning specifications. With the guidance of my instructors and fellow classmates, I believe I am prepared to go out into the teaching world and help make the change in as many students' lives as possible.